Hey, how's it going, everybody? And in today's video, I want to show you how to deploy your web application to AWS Amplify. Now, briefly, I'm just going to mention that what are the benefits of deploying this to Amplify? Well, think of it this way. If you have on your portfolio things like AWS Cloud Services or Google Cloud Services, it's going to look much stronger than have experience, let's say, with Netlify or Vercel or Heroku. While those services are still good, they're not, at least in my eyes, they're not as professional. Even though like there are quite a few websites of big companies being deployed to Vercel, still AWS and Google Cloud Services are the by far biggest competitors on this market, not to taking into consideration things like Azure or some other Chinese companies that provides the same kind of services. Um, and knowing AWS is going to benefit you in the long run. Not to mention that if you're not looking to build your portfolio for your resume, you're just doing it for fun, still learning all these services that AWS or Google has to offer is far more beneficial in the long run because, for instance, I have my own website here. When I deployed it, I didn't have a feature where you can contact me via email. Then I added it later, and all I had to do is just connect the Lambda and API gateway in order to have that functionality. And this is what I'm talking about. Like you have all the services available to you, and in case you need them. Also, deploying your application, your web application is super easy and super simple. I'm going to show you. It's only take like a couple of minutes, and then you're going to have like things like CI/CD set up for you as well. Every time you push to the branch on GitHub, you will get you will trigger the update on your AWS Amplify, which will then update your application online. In this first video, we're just going to take a look at how you can deploy your project, which is a web-based, well, I mean, it should be a web-based, right? It's better be. But what I'm trying to say is uh, this project does not have a backend. So it's like a front-end application without the backend. In a second video, we're going to take a look at the backend implementation. Um, we're going to use Elastic Beanstalk, which incorporates multiple things like such as EC2 instance and load balancers and etc. And we're going to take a deeper dive into those when we talk about that. Um, in today's video, it's just Amplify. And let's take a look at how can we deploy our application. So let's say we are following tutorial, we're building some web app, and we now want to deploy. I have a simple app here I put together with Node.js, Tailwind, and TypeScript. It's a very simple app. Let me run it first. npm run dev, and it's a very simple app. It's a to-do. We right now we store everything in local storage. You add a to-do, it just appears on the list, being stored in the local storage. Again, in the second video, we're gonna connect this to the backend, which is gonna be Node.js and MongoDB. Then we're gonna deploy that backend to Elastic Beanstalk, and we will connect this app with that backend. Also, we're gonna set up a domain. We're gonna use Route 53 for DNS management, and further, we're just gonna add that domain to our AWS Amplify. So without further ado, let's dive right in. Let's open up this app, see how it looks. It's a very simple thing. I'm not going to describe like what it is and how it is. It's just a handle submit, use effect to fetch those to-dos from local storage, and a simple form with one input field and one button. So then we display this. Sorry, I got distracted a little bit. It's a simple app with just one input, a button, and then a list of those to-dos that we display through this to-do map over here. And that's pretty much it. We have only one component, which is this page. And then we have the root page, which is just a main tag with that component of main in it. And then layout is just a simple layout from Next.js 13. Okay, so this main is a use client component, by the way. Anyway, this is how it looks, and we can add to this wish list. I had some items already, as you can see in my local host. Um, that's nice. Let's add something more. Um, what do I have in here? Walk the dog, and that's how it's being added. Nothing sophisticated. It's just for demonstration purposes. Anyway, let's kill the app. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna um, well, I already have a branch set up for this app, and I already have certain items in it. I have like a main branch and no backend branch. Why no backend? Well, that's simple because in the future we're going to have a backend, and we're going to add with the backend here, and that's going to be the branch to follow tutorial where we're going to build the backend, right? Or where we're going to deploy the backend. So this is basically for you, so you can fork it and then have it in your at your disposal, and then you don't have to code any of these, right? Okay, so I have the branch set up, and with that being said, we are ready to go. The only thing I want to do is um, before we go to the AWS, actually, I just want to mention one thing, that you will need an AWS account. It is free for a year. You'll need a credit card to sign up. Um, it is free for a year. All the services that we're going to use in this tutorial and in the backend tutorial, they are going to be covered by the free tier with that 1 year subscription, if you will. And then after 1 year, it's not really going to cost you much if you decide to use this service. I can show you my billing real quick. I have my web app and my website, and it's not really. It's just a one-page kind of portfolio website. It doesn't have any backend. It's just a front-end application, just like the one that we're trying to push right now. So, and as you can see, current month forecast total is only $1.50. Like, come on, $1.50 for the application, which is um, half of the cost for this is Route 53, and the other one is just the Amplify. So it's really inexpensive when it gets to actually hosting your apps without having a backend. But then also, when you do have a backend, you only pay for the amount this EC2 instance is running, right? If you don't have really much traffic on your website, you're not going to pay a lot. Um, I can tell you that it should be, if you select a very simple instance, it should cost you anywhere between like $5 to $15 if you're running in a backend. So anyway, enough of that. Let's go and build the app. So for that, you may be wondering, when you set up your account, you're not going to have these bookmarks. How do you get these bookmarks? Well, you need to type the name of the service, and then you have this star beside it. So if you click it, it disappears from the bookmark. If you click it again, it's being added here. Plus, if you drag it, and you can rearrange your bookmark like that. So let's hit new app. This page is probably gonna click on Amplify, and then this page is gonna be different for you because I already have my app in here. Yours is gonna be just a kind of welcome page, but you will have a button there. I'm not sure whether this is going to be the same button, or is like create app or new app or something like that, but you will navigate your way through, I'm pretty sure. So host web app. Now, let me just enlarge this a little bit. It's We can host this app through like any of these four providers, which is GitHub, Bitbucket, GitLab, and Code Commit on AWS, or we can deploy it from our local machine. If you choose to do this, then you would have to build your app, and that would be npm run build, and then the build folder is going to be generated. You need to zip it up and basically drag it here, and that's pretty much it. Or you can use any of these Bitbucket, GitHub repositories in order to connect this with Amplify. Let's choose GitHub, click continue. And you see mine is already connected, and I already authorized my uh, GitHub account. Let's go to settings, then, oh my God, where is it? Applications. And you see this Amplify is being added here as a list of applications. So if you go to configure, let me just enter the password. and I'm going to uninstall it. So just to replicate the same scenario that you're going to be going through, let me select that repository here. And now if I go back, all apps, new GitHub, it's now going to bring me to this page again, but instead it's going to error out and say that I don't have an application installed in my GitHub. And be aware that you need to be logged into your GitHub account to the correct one that you want to use before you hit that button. Otherwise, it's going to prompt you to the wrong account to add this one. So it's AWS Amplify application that is being added to your GitHub, and you can authorize it to use all the repositories on only one. So it's up to you which you want to choose. I only have one repo in my GitHub, so I'm going to choose only selected repo and the one that I want to add. Click install and authorize. Now it's going to error out on my end. I'm not sure why it does this. It's probably because I'm like doing this from the settings here, uh, deleting from the GitHub and adding, and it kind of freaks out a little bit. Let me just bring this browser back to normal. Oh, come on. I can't. Oh, there we go. Oh, nope. Oh my goodness. Screw up everything. Yeah, so it's probably because I'm tampering with settings, but yours is, if you're doing it for the first time, yours is probably going to be just fine. Even though it says there's an error, you can go to settings and you can verify that this has been, oh man, why does this, why is doing this automatically for me? It's kind of snapping my window to the top. I don't want to do that, but yet I want my window to be full screen. Anyway, I'm probably gonna move it like that and extend it like this. So go to settings again, applications, right? And you're gonna see this application listed here. If you go to configuration, you should see this read and write, and that's being authorized. So everything is good to go. And you can in fact confirm that by selecting the GitHub again. And now you're gonna see that it is authorized and it's good to go. So now we're gonna select the branch or repository that we added, then the branch inside of that repo, which is no backend, right? And keep in mind that the branch you select here is going to be your branch for CI/CD. So meaning that every time you push anything into this branch or this branch, whatever you pick, it will trigger re-render or rebuild on your AWS Amplify side. So make sure you have like proper branches set up in your Git, like development, production, and you use the ones that are appropriate for your use case. Anyway, I'm going to select no backend, hit next. I'm not going to change anything here. If you want to change your app name, that's going to be listed over here. It's not really affecting anything, so it could be anything that you want. Then everything is we're going to leave as default. Hit next is just a summary of what we are doing. So you see how Amplify is picking up the framework that we have. It's Next.js. Save and deploy. Now this is going to take a couple of minutes. I just want to quickly give you a rundown on certain things like um, while it's still building, you see it's provisioning, then build, then deploy, and this is the link to our website. And this is what we going to be sharing with other people, right? This is where our project is going to live on the internet. For now, it's just a boilerplate, and it will change once this is finished deploying. So for now, we're going to close it. Then just a few caveats, gotchas to those of you who are going to follow this tutorial and deploy your application. You may have environment variables for your front-end app, and they are going to be living here. So you would have to transfer those variables from your env into here, which is, I mean, straightforward, right? Like if you have some sort of URL for your backend requests or whatever the case may be, you're just going to add it here. If you need more, you just click more, more, and more, right? And then if you don't need them, you delete. So then you hit save and then say your variable is added. Just keep that in mind. If something is not working, then that's probably why. Also, rewrite and redirects. This is usually should be a concern when you're adding your domain. If you have any case that you need to cover by your rewrites or redirects, that's going to be over here. And the last thing is domain management. Once you purchase domain, this is where you're going to hook up your domain to your AWS Amplify. What's nice about Amplify as well, that it's giving you a free SSL certificate, and we're just going to see that in a second while, when it's going to stop. I mean, once it's successfully deployed the website, then we are going to, actually, we can even see it right now. Look at this. We already have SSL setup, so it's protected, right? So even better. Yeah, I'm not sure whether other services like Heroku, Netlify are giving you the SSL. Probably not. Maybe they do. I'm not 100% positive. But this one, Amplify, does it, so it's nice. All right, the build is done. You see this app is very small. It only takes like, I don't know, 2-3 minutes. And if your app is very large, then it's probably going to take like 10-15. If it's medium size, I would say 5 to 10. And it's deployed. All right, so let's take a look at this app. Let's see what it looks like. Well, it's just exactly the same as we had it on the local host. This is the local host, right? 3000. And this is the app on the internet. Awesome. And it's working. So now you can start sharing this app. And one last thing I want to show you is when you push to the branch, that this is going to trigger the build for the app. Let's go back. You can monitor it here. It's going to change the status from success to building or provisioning, whatever that is. Or you can go directly in here. These statuses are going to change again once you push to the branch. Let's make a change. Let's change the color of this button, and we're gonna push that live and see how it changes and how the build is being triggered. So right now we have that CI/CD hooked up to this no backend branch, and I'm gonna commit and push this directly into this branch. Let's change color to yellow, the button color, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna click here, BTN color change, and we're going directly into the no backend branch. Keep that in mind. I thought I have some git push origin, no backend. And as soon as we push this, you see it's successful. This is going to start working. We can double check that we actually pushed it. Yep, no backend had recent push. And so this is, it's already provisioning. So you see how fast and how nice it is by clicking couple of buttons, absolutely zero configuration on the AWS side, except like adding this GitHub to your authorizing the AWS Amplify app on the GitHub side. But other than that, there's nothing really that should scare you off with like deploying to AWS, right? It's super nice, super fast, and easy to set up, especially if you like have multiple dummy projects that you're working on and you want to upload all of them. So that's super nice in my opinion. Plus, as I mentioned in the beginning, that you have all the services in the AWS that may benefit you in the future. That is worth now starting familiarizing yourself with the AWS. And once this is finishing deploying, I'm going to come back and we're going to check out that button color has to change to yellow. All right, as you can see, it stopped, it finished successfully deploying the app. Now we can take a look at in a different browser, probably because the Amplify is using CloudFront for CDN, and most likely the change has not propagated yet to this one, or it's the Next.js cache. I'm not 100% sure which one that is causing the problem, because if I refresh this one, it's not yet changing the color, but it will in like 5-10 minutes. But where we can check is in a different browser. If we copy this link here and we paste it in the new browser and we open this up, as you can see, color of the button has changed, and it is on the same URL as the other one. So, and that's pretty much it. This is how you deploy to Amplify. Super easy, super simple. Connecting your branch and deploying your code from that branch, which is also handled by Amplify. In case you need to modify certain build commands, build settings, you can also do that. So there's lots and lots and lots of customization and settings to accommodate your particular use case if you need that. But I have deployed like quite a few apps in the past to AWS Amplify and Elastic Beanstalk, and I haven't really had any use case where I needed like go deep woods and like configure something that's that's not covered by default. Anyway, that's pretty much it. This is how we deploy our application. And in the next video, we're going to cover the backend side of things. It's going to be Node.js, MongoDB. We're going to hook up this app to that backend, and we're going to store these in MongoDB. And everything's going to be deployed to, again, AWS. We're going to hook up the domain to this application that we just did, and it's going to be interesting. All right, so see you then.